Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Pronogo here, bringing you another cast over for Cosmonarchy, and this time I get to dig out the exciting overlay that I built here for custom game modes, because we're not going to be doing competitive traditional here for this match. It's actually going to be The Turning, the first time I'm casting an alternate game mode for Cosmonarchy. There were some attempts at casting like Massacre games and stuff, but they just don't get played that often, and I think there was also a period of time where the replays for those weren't even working, but the turning replays apparently do work. So let's jump straight into that. We will have Neblime versus jakulangski here. By the way, it is apparently pronounced Neblime, as in the first syllable is neb and not ne. But who would have known? You know, I mean, you'd think blime would actually be a syllable for someone who's tangentially related to the blimey. Oh, I guess I can't say that word. All right, let's go into Neblime in the bottom left versus jakulangski in the top right. All right, so we do obviously have a good amount of Zerg here, so that will be great fodder for what the turning is. The turning is a custom game mode where when your unit dies, it becomes neutral hostile. And that means that it roams around the map, and it essentially is a zombie. It's not actually able to see anything, it's totally blind, but if you attack it, it will attack you back. And it will actually just like hunt you down like very much without any intelligence, just like super ridiculous, super powerful. Well, one note anyway. Likely the first unit to die in any of these situations will end up being like a scout worker or something, and it won't be a good demonstration of the behavior. But it's worth noting that, you know, this is what we're going to expect, right? We're going to expect that anytime a unit dies, and the zombies don't leave behind corpses, so they don't turn back into zombies again. It's not like ad infinitum. But what you will see... By the way, isn't it supposed to be infinitum? I think I've let like certain people's pronunciations of certain words like curse me forever, and I just mispronounce them. Anyway, I'm pretty sure here as we... Oh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, I guess we're going for a pool right after this. So jakulangski going for a hatch on the low ground. He keeps wanting to make a worker, but not. He's going to go ahead and 9 pool behind it. And Neblime over here is going to be jumping up to 10 workers after his hatch on the ramp. So, you know, we've got a pretty safe opener here for Neblime, and he's going to go up a worker. But jakulangski here seems to have wanted to hit a faster pool timing. I'm not sure about that, actually. I don't know what the translation is. I feel like it wouldn't delay you that much to get the extra worker, but it probably gives you a little bit more eco. Anyway, some the general notes about the way that we design custom game modes in Cosmonarchy is that they still involve playing an RTS, right? So we have like omnipresence, which is actually currently like dually presence, because it's actually only 2 out of 3 races. But that's a separate notion. We'll rectify that at a later date. The other stuff is Massacre. Massacre is, of course, a game mode where you don't harvest Vespene, then the gas nodes are destroyed at map start, and the way that you get Vespene is by training units and killing units, and that's the only way you can do it. So you get 3 Vespene per unit trained and 3 Vespene per unit killed, and yes, units trained include like when the Vagrant turns into the Shade, or when the Simulacrum clones, or, you know, when the Brood Spawn are created from like Rilla Rokors, or Vilgaleths, or Zoryusthaleths, and stuff like that. So depending on where you want to go, like you can actually invest into Mr. Spend Money to Make Money, basically. Quasis are out here, and indeed we will see that revive thing happen. You can take the corpse beforehand if you so desire, so that's not too bad. But it does reduce the amount of time you have before you can take over the corpse. But it gives you a little bit of tempo here. So we're going to see the first actual engagement of the fight. It looks like when these 2 Quasis barrel on in here, and it looks like Neblime will be going for a low ground hatch. Got Quasis all over the place. No, if he's not careful, yeah, I was going to say he'll end up losing some stuff there. All right, here come the first engagements here. Remember, as these units die, they'll be turned back into neutral hostile ones. And you can see there for a second, it looks like the attack move came in to help to make jakulangski get aggroed to him. But yeah, you got to watch out for that situation. Okay, all right, it looks like Neblime is A-okay on that front. He falls back to his choke, and he's patrolling around. He's thinking about, okay, what do I want to do here? I mean, and you can't see them on the minimap as the witness, which maybe... You know, you probably should be able to. Another one's going to wander in here. You know, there weren't so many of them that died that it was that big of a deal. This worker looks like it's going to get bopped over here. No problems there. Yeah, we had another one over here. So, you know, they'll wander in the relative vicinity. It takes them a while to scoop up all the way to, like, the other side of the map, for example. So that's something worth noting. And it actually kind of makes it jump scary when watching from the perspective of the actual players. Like, oh wait, I actually have no idea when the zombies are going to come around the corner, and if I'm on attack move, I'll start aggroing them. It doesn't matter as much for this stage of the game, but it could be a pretty big deal. You just saw the circuits deal with that. In theory, the static defense is super useful for riposting attacks like that. But in practice, I think it can be a little bit scary because, you know, they automatically aggro what's going on here. Oh, look at this. He's going to get a little bit stuck on that. And there's a little bit of an arming time for the corpse, by the way. We do have a bit of a drop fomenting over here. Larvosk for Jakulangski. He does have his Hydrith Den up. Let's go see what Neblime is looking for. He's got his pool. He's been harvesting Vespine. He's making his own Larvosk. So it seems like slowly but surely people are coming around to the idea that maybe the Larvosk is worth an acquisition. It does mean that you're probably not going to be able to spend as much, you know, it's a very Vespine-heavy investment, we'll say. So we do have a quasi-drop fomenting for Jakulangski, as mentioned before. This Obeleth is empty. It's not quite on an intercept course. These quasis are peculiarly placed, but I still don't think they'll be able to spot it based on the trajectory. Oh, maybe they will. Yeah, they might actually just barely be able to. So that's kind of clever here and uncanny, perhaps. Let's see. Does he realize? Yeah, I think he just saw the... yeah, he saw the Obeleth, so he's going to go ahead and recall his units. So this shouldn't do too much damage. But the problem is when you drop, then they turn back after you kill this unit and clear it up, they turn into neutral hostile stuff, right? So... like, they kind of double hit, so you have to be a little bit more careful about how you respond to the drops, right? Because you're kind of like throwing units at them that then turn into the zombies and then have to be cleaned up after. So we didn't see a crazy amount of impact for that one, but it was, you know, it was cool. It was neat. Another neutral hostile one wanders up. By the way, neutral hostile Obeleth that just roams around the map. It can't attack anything, but it's kind of funny to think about. Now, I was thinking that, like, as I'm seeing this, again, this is the first time I'm seeing a custom game mode in Cosmonarchy and, like, from the replay perspective and actually casting it and stuff. So it's very cool as, like, a first experience for it. We do have a third base going down for both of our players. Neblime's slightly ahead. Probably has more hatches. Let's think about it. He's got double Larvosk, 4 hatch, and we compare that to the single Larvosk and 3 hatch. So, yeah, definitely an advantage here in terms of the production for Neblime. We'll see what he wants to do there. But I should mention that, okay, there's a bit of a pause. Okay, that Obeleth will end up dying and then become a little... okay, never mind. Brutally destroyed. My hopes and dreams slashed and dashed. But yeah, I was kind of curious about, like, what the game modes would end up looking like as far as the competitive nature of them or whatever. And I like the idea that the tactic then becomes, like, you know... oh, I'm gonna send a bunch of raiding units out there, like the Skithercores are being made by Jakulangski, and I'm gonna basically suicide them because they'll double turn into, you know, other units that you got to watch out for. So in isolation, when there's only a few of them, it's not going to be the end of the world. But I do like the idea, right? I like the idea, and so obviously Neblime ahead in workers right now has the decided advantage there. I'm also getting a lot of ideas for how I think we could add more interest. Like, I think maybe there could be units in the middle of the map, or like maybe they could occupy like side bases, or maybe just all bases. The easy thing to do would be to say, okay, anything that's not occupied by a player start location should be a spot where they get potentially turned into a like a spawner area for the zombies, and then they would just periodically throw themselves out there, right? So here we go. We've got another engagement. I would personally love to see the quasis get focused down here because they turn into neutral hostile ones, right? Now here's the neutral hostile Skithercores as well, but yeah, it's not going to matter too much. The Hydras were in the right position, but hey, you can see how this could turn into something bad, right? Now in this situation, the quasis end up getting mopped up because there's all those Hydras there, but if those Skits hit a little bit earlier, you know, you could get some good value out of them. At this point, though, they are just going to be... I love the neutral hostile worker just on its way out. See ya. Think about what Jakulangski wants to do. He is going for a Zorkish Shroud, adding more hatches to the situation. He does have his second Larvosk, so he's caught up on the production side, it seems. A couple Skits over here. Oh, no, I don't even want to know about the Rillarocors. All right, here's the neutral hostile Skits. They'll start roaming around, and if you're on attack move, then you will aggro them. Okay, well, never mind. But yeah, what happens to the Rillarocors when they go kaput? I imagine they'd become neutral hostile, but they'd probably time out afterwards, right? We'll take a look at it. Obviously, over here we have a lot of action there. I guess we can't really see them. Yeah, they are going to pop around, but they will just die because of the timed life. So maybe zombies shouldn't have timed life. Maybe they should be perpetual. What do you guys think? Post in the comments if you have suggestions for this sort of thing. Now, there's only one circuit finished over here, but the Hydras are in for a quick response. It doesn't look like Neblime wants to even engage with that. He has his own tier 2 coming. The Rillo core is doubling up. My god, man, they're going to be even more disruptive in this game mode. Obviously, a big quasi drop coming in the bottom left is going to cause some consternation. And this is where it can get really scary. If you only have a couple of these units, and then a lot of them end up dying and turning into zombies, that could be a really big problem. But we'll check in on that with a little bit. Bactalisk's finishing at almost the perfect time here. The Zets are indeed going to just get bopped. And yeah, we do have to turn back around over in this situation. This force still not cleaned up all the way. It looks like finally it will be. Good drop there from Jack to happen at basically the same time as his opponent was attempting an attack. Neblime definitely ahead in workers, taking 6 o'clock. This Quasi got unburrowed, but is just sitting there puzzled, like, how did I get moved? That's weird. At least, obviously, there will be some vision there. Oh, look at that. There you go. By the way, the reason why the Quasi death animation is broken is because I never fixed the April Fool's graphic. And if I watch without April Fool's on, then the replay breaks. So isn't that funny? Now jakulangski is going to go for tier 2 in a moment here, but a lot of the tech is coming up for Neblime. We'll have to see what he wants to do. Obviously a bit of a skirmish over here, but the skirmishes start to take on a very different look when when the corpses come out. So that's kind of cute. Now we do have a larger engagement starting over here, and I think these Zets are going to be really, really good for Neblime, except his auto attack moves are starting to aggro the corpses onto him. The zombies kind of like have a mass consciousness where if you attack, one player attacks them, then they'll become hostile to everything of that player, I think, which is a little bit different. So not exactly the same thing as the traditional AI enemy that you can actually have vision of or whatever. All right, let's see what happens here. The Zorius trying to do their best to absorb it. We got a bit of a flank coming in from the top rope. These circuits pushing out into the middle of the map. Don't mind that at all. And I do think that this is favoring Neblime, but obviously he's got to deal with the aftermath as well, so we'll see how that goes. I think he'll be just fine. I don't think he's going to lose too much. The Rillo-Rokors and the Zombie Zoriustalets are like really spooky for that reason, but I think they were able to get focused down enough, so... There you go. All right. All's well that ends well. Bottom right going to be taken by Neblime. We do have 3 o'clock taken as well by Jack. But definitely behind in bases right now. Lost in the sauce, perhaps. 4 gas caps at the same time for Neblime. 4 Lakizelisks for jakulangski. I actually think Lakizelisk jumps up in value here just so he can clear the deck a lot more. Not really any crowd control over here. He's got a lot of quasis and that's about it. Oh no! The zombie Rillo-Rokors. Okay, well they don't really do too much, but... I was gonna say if these units were on attack move, that's something that you probably train yourself out of in the turning is you don't attack move anywhere. You don't want to just get eaten up by the corpses. And of course, I should mention buildings do not turn into zombies, so you don't have to worry about that. Now that structure didn't get canceled, so the worker is not going to be resuscitated. Here come the Lakizelisks. We'll see what happens when those die, because I actually don't know. Did they burrow? Okay, they're probably just very useless because I guess the AI ones won't burrow. That's something that we should probably try to improve. But hey, look at that. We do have the little bit of a front line forming over here. Can it deal with all the Hydras? I'm not so sure. Everything else kind of on attack move. A bunch of workers coming in as well. Battle workers. I guess they'll occupy the attention of the Hydras and take some of the shots. Quasi's trying to make it up the ramp here. It's not exactly working out for them. The Hydra Swarm is just too powerful. Now we do have 12 mutas moving off to the top left of the map, and they're going to arc over thinking that maybe Jack has already taken 12 o'clock, but he has not. Hey, this hatch could get focused down here if Neblime is paying attention, but it doesn't look like he is. We do have the Zorius finally trying to make it up the ramp. They should just snipe this up, surely. Yep, it's going to be another snipe. We've got more Drolets over here, but that's a little bit frustrating for the tempo. And I would say that for sure it's looking pretty good here for our resident champion, our reigning champion of Ascension number 7, Neblime, the man from down under. Sending off a couple of Zorius, it's not a bad idea. Obviously, the corpses will slow down your opponent a little bit, but 12 o'clock was not ever taken, and we don't even have the Lakizelisks burrowed over here. Oh my god. Vilgalets spawning plenty, and plenty, I say. Okay, now the Lakizelisks go burrowed. The static defense here should help quite a bit. Yeah, not even able to reveal it with the power of the Zets. We have the mutas charging in for 12 o'clock, though. That is going to start attacking the workers, which need to be burrowed, but I don't think Jack is paying attention. He should control left-click and burrow his unit so that they don't get attacked here. Okay, it comes out a little bit late, but it's better than nothing. Now they're going to start roving into the main. They could target these Larvosks down. They're pretty cheeky in terms of their HP. And it looks like, finally, the ground army has been taken care of. I don't think you're going to get the Iral Iris, but hey, there's a bunch of Zets to watch it happen. And dive for the bounces and start roaming around. Not exactly what you want. Oh no, is he actually going to get the Iral Iris with just 12 mutas? That seems very unlikely, but hey, 3 o'clock is also dying. I feel like Jack himself has turned into a zombie at this point. It's actually 14 mutas. And his units are just not rallying over properly. The bounce attack is actually really quite spooky here in this situation. I can't believe he actually got this Iris. It feels like Jack just didn't take that throw very seriously, but also he had a bit of a mixed rally where a lot of his ground units that only attack ground units, like the Zets and Zorius, were blocking his path for the units that could actually attack the mutas, which are indeed retreating at this point. Only 9 of them remaining, but definitely still cost efficient. Vilgalet's coming in here in the clutch, just spawning more and more units. Can't get rid of them that easily. A bit of an off-center hatch just to spread the Kager, I think. He can obviously add more later on if he wants to. And a huge storm of Zeth, Zorius, Quasi moving out towards 12 o'clock yet again as a bit of an attempted stab. But jakulangski doesn't have that base still. He's remaking his tech, but I think it's much too late at this point. All right, what else do we got over here anyway? One of the things that maybe the zombies should have is they should get the infestation debuff or whatever, where it's like they get 1 extra armor but less movement speed. That might be something worth putting out there. Or maybe some other statistical change that would make them a little bit more spooky in some way. Not 100% sure. Maybe it could be like a... I don't know, I wouldn't like it to be random, obviously, but maybe there could be a different array of buffs. Like, sometimes you'll get, you know, fast zombies, and sometimes you'll get slow ones, right? And the slow ones are, like, more tanky, and the fast ones are just scary because they're fast. All right, here's the big attack over here. We do have a hell of a lot of spawns from the Vilgalets. And on top of that, they're also stopping the zombification of the units because they're consuming the corpses. But at the same time, I think we're pushing this more in the favor of Jack the longer this fight goes on, because all of these units can't actually engage the fight. It doesn't necessarily matter, though, because 28 mutas are now in his third base, and I feel like he's just really behind the times as far as the economy is concerned. He is making a lot of Hydras. They did just hatch, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold this off forever. Finally breaking through the perpetual front line thanks to the Vilgalets going down. I'm not sure where the Matrolets went. It looks like they were covered back over here to see if they could help out a little bit. All of the zombie workers, yeah, it's not looking too good. And Jack will call GG. That is our very first cast of the turning in the bag. And I guess I can just say it was really chaotic. I wasn't sure what to expect exactly. But yeah, utter chaos, that's for sure. So, you know what? I think we could probably say that that was a pretty, like, self-fulfilling prophecy type of match. We weren't really expected. You know, we have no idea what was going on. It comes in and yeah, you turn into a fucking zombie. ZVZ turns out to be quite chaotic. I guess Neblime had played with the Shambler, and the two of them had decided that the zombies weren't really that impactful. I kind of feel like they weren't that impactful here either. But maybe this subsequent matches that we have to cast in this set will change my mind. You can tune in tomorrow for at least one more of those, maybe 2 more. We'll see how many we can get through in one video. And until then, stay tuned for more action, right? It's really cool to get some of these zany casts done where it's the different game modes. Happy about that. So I'll see you guys later. GG.